Welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Blackwell, and go ahead and grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea. This is gonna be a long one. So you already know by the name of this video and my thumbnail that this is my October TBR. I've been excited to film this video for basically since I started my channel. It's going to be a lot because I have actually decided to do something a little bit different this time around. Before we get into this, I just want to let you know all of my social media is linked down below if you want to follow me on Instagram, Goodreads, TikTok, or Twitter. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to do so. Go ahead and click that like button and let me know down below in the comment section what you are looking forward to reading in October. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this time around, and that is I am separating my Readathon TBR from my Once Upon a TBR game TBR, and I'm going to be trying to do them both, but there is not going to be any crossover. So it's going to be a big TBR this month, but I have new headphones. And for some reason, that makes me think that I can read, like 50% more this month, of course. So let's just go ahead and do that. I have 3 readathons that I'm participating in, but honestly, there's at least another 3 or 4 that I'd love to participate in. I'm going to link everything down below for all of the readathons that I mentioned, plus a few more that I think look amazing, just in case you want to look into those readathons, because there's just so many amazing readathons going on in the month of October. So, first things first, I'm going to go over the readathons I'm participating in and let you know what I'm reading for those readathons. For the readathons that I am participating in, I am limiting myself. I am not fulfilling the prompts, like all of the prompts for all of the readathons. I am only doing 3 books per readathon. That way, there's 9 books on my readathon TBR, okay? So the first readathon I'm going to be participating in is Blackoween, and that is hosted by the Locked Booktician. I'm going to post her information down below so that you can check this amazing readathon out for yourself. The first book for Blackoween I'm going to be reading is A Spell for Trouble by Esme Addison. This is a witchy apothecary cozy mystery, and I am all for that. I love witchy books, I love witchy cozy mysteries, and I'm always looking for more, and I feel like it's the perfect time of year to be reading cozy mysteries. And look at this cover. You can see like the apothecary shop in there, and from what I've read about this book, it's super whimsical, magical, and just a fun time. And so I'm definitely looking forward to picking this one up for Blackoween. It is set in North Carolina as well, at a seaside town, like all cozy mysteries should be. So she goes to visit her estranged relatives, and someone is poisoned and or murdered, and one of her relatives is locked up for this crime, so she decides to insert herself into the investigation and find out for real who's done it. And I love those kind of cozy mysteries where, it's basically 99% of cozy mysteries, right? Where someone just kind of inserts themselves into an investigation. But yeah, it looks super cute, and I'm really excited for this one. Next, I have a book from my September TBR. I switched out prompts for this one so that I could finish all the prompts for my September TBR, but I wanted to actually read this for Blackoween. So this is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This is a book kind of set in like a Puritan society. Our main character wants to learn about the truth of her mom and whether or not she was involved in witchcraft. She starts doing some digging, and then she's drawn into like the forbidden forest, and it has some of like the witch vibes. I'm thinking it might be kind of similar to Slewfoot, and I hear it also is written in a kind of gothic style, which I love. I think this book is going to be a wonderful book to read in October. Okay, the next book on my Blackoween TBR is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller set in Brooklyn where our main character lives in this neighborhood that is being affected by gentrification. But there's something sinister going on in regards to this gentrification, and I hear that this book has lots of discussions of race and class, and I really like thrillers that also have some social commentary mixed in there. They're saying something else along with the thriller aspect. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I think it's actually like a mystery thriller too, so I'm really looking forward to this one as well. The next readathon that I am participating in is Halloweekend Readathon. This readathon is hosted by 5 amazing hosts, and they are Erin Megan, Riveting Reads, Katrina Reads, Books with Lexi, and Michelle's Library. And I'm going to have all of the information down below, including the Instagram for this too, and so you can check out that readathon for yourself. But this basically spans all 5 weekends of October, starting at the very end of September, over a 4-day weekend during each weekend, if that makes sense. So basically you participate in the readathon during the weekend, but they are long weekends, 4-day weekends. And so there are 3 books I'm going to be reading for this readathon as well. First book I'm going to be reading is The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. And I've owned this for about a year now, but haven't gotten to it. And I hear this is like cosmic horror. And I think this is going to be a favorite horror genre for me, but I'm not sure. And I'd like to find out. But I do hear really good things about this. I did read my first T. Kingfisher like maybe, I don't know, like a month ago or something. I think it was like a month and a half ago. I read Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, and I'm looking forward to trying something from one of her horrors because she does write like fantasy and horror. So I want to try out one of her horrors, and I think this is going to be the one. This book is set in North Carolina as well. I actually have like a trend going. I have a lot of books this month that are taking place in North Carolina, which I think is pretty cool because that's where I live. And so this is about a girl who goes back home to North Carolina, and she discovers some kind of portal or secret door to like an alternate reality of some kind. And so yeah, it's kind of like portal, fantasy, horror, cosmic horror blend type of situation, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Next, I have a book I've looked forward to reading for a good long while, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I adored the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I can't wait to read this one because it's set in the same neighborhood but like a decade prior, and it's about these teenage girls who are best friends, and one of them is possessed by a demon, and somehow their friendship must endure, and her best friend needs to basically try to save her friend. And so from what I know, it's got some pretty gruesome scenes in it. It seems like it's gonna have like Stranger Things vibes a little bit, and also I think that this is gonna have some really beautiful commentary on friendship, and so I'm looking forward to picking this one up too. Finally, I'm gonna be reading Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is the last book I'll be reading for the Halloweekend Readathon, and this is also my local book club's pick for October, and this is one of Riley Sager's most well-loved thrillers, and it's about a girl who inherits a haunted house, basically. Her dad is famous for writing a memoir about their times there, and she doesn't really remember whether or not this memoir was true, or was it like fictionalized, was it like made up, or did these things really happen, because she was so young. So she inherits this haunted house, and she wants to, I think, fix it up and sell it, and things get a bit thrilling and spooky. I do hear that this is one of Riley Sager's best works. I'm not even done with readathons, and I still have to film my Once Upon a TBR as well. I'm really hoping the board is nice to me. The one, the only, like the best seasonal readathon ever, hosted by Olivia and Gabby. We have Weekendween. We love the weens. We love all of the weens. We love the spring fling weens, the summer weens, the weekend weens, the winter weens. We love the weens, you know? This household loves the weens. And I am definitely participating in Weekendween this year. This takes place over Halloween weekend. The weekend. And This year's theme is Monster Mash, and I couldn't be more excited because I'm using this as an excuse to read a whole bunch of monster smut. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do this Halloween. I'm going to read monster smut. That's what I'm going to do. So, the first book I'm going to be reading for Weekendween is going to be Scream for Us by Molly Doyle. This is a novella. I know nothing about this other than it takes place on Halloween, and it sounds flippin' amazing, and the cover has all the Halloween vibes, and I hear it's a really spicy ride. Next is another spicy Halloween novella. This is set on Halloween as well, and it's Dare or Death by K.L. Mann. I don't really know anything about this, except for I see that it's a novella, I see that it takes place on Halloween, and that it's a spooky, dark romance, and that it's really spicy. And that's exactly what I'm looking for the Halloween weekend. Because also, the third book I'm reading is not so short. It is a Catherine Moon book. We all know she is like the queen of the paranormal spice, but she is also the queen of writing her books a little bit too long. So, I am going to be reading The Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon. This is the sequel to A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, which I really enjoyed. I think I gave it 4 stars, but definitely did skim that last 50 pages. But this is about a woman who works at an adult theater, playing out scenes with monsters on stage, if you know what I mean. And so this is about her, and it is a reverse harem, or why choose, I'm trying to say why choose, but monster romance. And if it's anything like the first one, it's gonna have those Halloween vibes. It's gonna have those like fall autumnal vibes. It's gonna be kind of dark, but it's gonna be kind of sweet, and it's gonna be full of lots of fun spice. Okay, so there we have it. That's our 9 books that I'm going to be reading for my readathons that I'm participating in. I'm going to link all that stuff down below, and also some other readathons that I think you should check out that I just cannot fit in my TBR currently, but I may try to fit as we go throughout the month. But let's get into the unknowns here. Let's get into some roles. Let's find out what my own board is going to do to me this month. And let's hope that she is nice. So we are going to go ahead and roll for October's TBR. So roll number 1. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Elixir. Fiction. For my first roll of Once Upon a TBR game, I rolled a 7, and my prompt was fiction. So that kind of leaves things wide open, right? Apparently, I'm a glutton for punishment. That's apparently the theme for this TBR video. I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. I'm going to read it. Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I have been hearing about this book forever, and it's a chunker. This is an epic fantasy, Asian-inspired fantasy that is like got steampunk vibes. From what I hear, it's political, it's epic, it's amazing, it's character-driven, and it's beautifully written. So this is about an archipelago called Dara, which was once divided into 7 kingdoms, and constant warring has led to a rebellion. It's angered the gods, and political maneuvering and war ensues. So this is going to follow a few different characters. It's multi-POV'd, and it's going to follow them through this rebellion, these wars. No, I've never read a steampunk fantasy, but I am excited to check this one out because I've heard literally nothing but amazing things about this whole series. Let's hope that Hannah's nicer to herself, and that the board continues to be, like, nice to me too. Roll number 2. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is Book of Spells. Booktuber's favorite. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so for roll number 2, I rolled an 8 and I got Booktuber favorite. So this leaves me like about a million options, just like my first roll, because there's a lot of booktubers out there and they all have a lot of favorite books. But I'm going to go with one that is a more recent favorite. I've been hearing about this book a lot recently. A few people that enjoyed it were Michelle and I think Lexi did. And I don't know, I've just been hearing about this book repeatedly. It is The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. This is about a woman who, when she was in college, got caught up in a sex cult. And she gets out, and then years later, she hears about her friend passing away in the same town where they had been entwined with this cult, and she wants to go investigate and find out what happened. There is a podcast element. It is extremely dark, verging on horror, and yeah, I hear it's very, very dark. I hear there's a lot of trigger warnings, so definitely check the trigger warnings before you pick this book up if you're interested in it. But I want a super dark thriller this month. You know, I want to read something really dark, and I want to try out a cult book. I want to try a cult book out. I've never read a cult thriller, like a cult-related thriller, and I'd like to try one out. Roll number 3. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stones. Okay, awesome. LGBTQIA plus author or rep. So for roll number 3, I rolled a 7 and I got LGBTQIA plus, and that could be the rep or the author. And I'm going to be reading Tentacles and Teeth by Rowan Merrick. And this is a book that I had previously started. She ended up wanting to make a couple of changes, so I put it down and I was waiting for the new one to come out. It ended up coming out like a day or two later, and I just haven't gotten around to picking it back up. This is a romance novella. It is not really why choose. I think our main character has multiple sexual experiences during this novella, something along like that sort. And I think one of them is with a female that has tentacles of some sort, and the other is like with a male shapeshifter of some sort too. I'm not sure. I don't know. I hear it's spicy. I loved the cover, and this just looks like a really good, dark, fun, sexy time. Roll number 4. 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. That means that I won't be hitting a dragon because I can't roll a 1. So, elixir. Ooh, cool. Romance. Okay, so everything is going pretty well, and I'm hoping it keeps up this way, but this board is being pretty nice to me. So for roll number 4, I rolled a 7 again, and I got romance. Awesome. I can always find room for romance on my TBR. And this, I know I don't usually do this, but because I do allow myself to swap out prompts throughout the month, like swap out the books I'm using for that prompt, this may end up being like mood read, like I may pick something else, but for now I'm thinking about reading Sherilyn Kenyon's Unleash the Night. This is the 8th or 9th book in this series, and it's the Dark Hunter series. And this one in particular follows a werehunter, and he is a forbidden blend of snow leopard and white tiger. And this is his relationship with, I think, the daughter of a senator. And so a little bit of like a forbidden situation, shapeshifters, Dark Hunter universe. This is going to be really, really perfect kind of paranormal romance to read in October. Roll number 5. 7. I keep rolling 7s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unicorn. I think that's my first unicorn I've ever gotten. So that's a mood read. Wow. Okay. So it's like the board knows that I already was basically punishing myself this month and filling up my TBR way too much. And my board was like, hey, you deserve a unicorn. You deserve a mood read. So this I'm going to leave open. I'm going to leave it open as an actual mood read. I'm going to mood read throughout the month. If I want to, I can use it for one of my readathon books. We'll just see what happens here. And I've got a mood read, free read. On to roll number 6. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stones. Featuring politics. That might be kind of hard. Okay, so for roll number 6, we rolled a 5, and we got featuring politics. That's not really fitting in with the Halloween vibes, but that can definitely fit in with the vibes of cooler weather, because in cooler weather, I like to read my fantasies. So I'm going to do a thing to myself. I'm going to do a thing that I probably shouldn't do. And I think that in October, I'm going to give myself 2 epic fantasies to read because, you know, I think it's going to be Ruin. I think I'm going to read Ruin by John Gwynne. This is the 3rd book in the Faithful and the Fallen series, definitely full of politics. And I've been wanting to pick this back up. I've been dying to. So I am. This is, I can't really tell you much about this book in particular, but I can tell you that the first book basically follows this brewing war between humans and giants. There is this big conversation of good versus evil. The only problem being that you don't know which side is which. And there are clues, but I hear there might be a big twist in this book. So we'll see what happens. But I hear this is a lot of people's favorite book in the series, or Wrath is, but generally this is most people's like first or second favorite book in the series. And I hear this book is crazy and amazing. And Yeah, I can't wait to pick it up. I was in a fantasy slump for a little bit there, and actually Dragon Mage I'm reading right now, and it's pulling me out of that slump. And it's like, Hannah, come back to where you belong. Like, we missed you. I miss you too. So I think I'm just in the mood. I'm in the mood for some epic fantasy. So let's read some. Roll number 7. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm there. Oops. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll and see if I get an odd or even. Odd. I rolled to find out if I've got an odd or an even, and the roll came out as an odd. I'm going to be reading a standalone. For this standalone, I am picking up another thriller set in North Carolina. That's just what it is. I'm all about the North Carolina books this month, and this is going to be The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. I've enjoyed Megan Miranda's writing so far. I read Such a Quiet Place and really enjoyed it, and I love the premise of this book. It's basically set in this small town in the Appalachian Mountains where people tend to vanish, and so a journalist comes to check it out and find out what's going on, and that journalist vanishes as well. So our main character decides to find out what happened to this journalist. She lives there. She wants to find out. And so I think it's going to be spooky. I think that it's going to be, I mean, it's also set like in the woods, in the mountains, in the Smoky Mountains. That's already going to be foggy and creepy and all of the vibes that I want. And it's Megan Miranda, and I think that I'm really going to enjoy the writing in this book. I hope so, at least. But I want to read some thrillers. I'm in a thriller mood. And yeah, this is an amazing TBR. A big TBR, but an amazing one. And I'm very excited about it. I'm super happy. But I also think it turned out to be a lot. This obviously does not include all the ebooks. I think I have at least like 5 ebooks that I'm reading. So, if you liked this video, please go ahead and click the like button. Let me know what you guys are reading in October. Let me know if you've read any of these books, because I'd like to hear what you thought about them. And please, if you have not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I post new videos. Down below, you're going to find all of the links to my social media, including my Goodreads, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Until next time, fellow readers, keep reading and living your best and most spooky life.
Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until